More on this, we're joined by Clifford May from our Washington studio. He is the president of the Foundation for the Defense of Democracies. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Jennifer.
What are some of the main issues the two sides will be looking at during these talks?
Well, we don't know for sure. The talks right now are about talking. It's not quite where they're only discussing the shape of the table, but it's not much beyond that. If they get to the final status, as Kerry clearly hopes, we're talking about such things as where the borders would be, what the status would be for refugees, whether the Palestinians will recognize Israel as a homeland for the Jewish people, those kinds of issues. And one problem is that we do not see any real compromise or room for compromise on either side on those very large issues.
The two sides have long demanded certain guarantees. Israel, its security. The Palestinians want a halt to Jewish settlements. How likely is that to happen?
Well, if you could get both sides to agree on that, and theoretically it would be possible. I think there's no question that Netanyahu would say, fine, we'll end settlements and we'll roll back a lot of them. That was what happened in Gaza, although without negotiations, where the Israelis pulled out every settlement, every village, every cemetery, everything entirely. The problem is that experience left a bad taste because Gaza became Hamas land, and all Israel has gotten in exchange for getting out of every settlement out of Gaza have been rockets. I think for Abbas it's very hard to say I'm going to give Israel security or I'm going to give Israel recognition. And even if he were to do that, could he deliver the population of the Palestinian territories? Keep in mind, he rules more or less in the West Bank, not at all in Gaza. He can't even go to Gaza and sit on the beach for a weekend. He can't go there at all because Hamas rules there. Hamas is against any negotiations and any concessions whatsoever. And it's not clear to Israel, and it is not clear that Abbas even can deliver the people of the West Bank at this point. He is in the 9th year of a 4-year term in office. He has not stood for re-election again. Neither, by the way, have Hamas people stood for re-election again. So it's just hard to see how this gets to a place where there can be not just agreement between the leaders, but any settlement between the two societies.
Very quickly, how important is John Kerry personally for getting these two sides back to the table?
I don't think personally he is very important. I think he's important because he holds the job of Secretary of State, and I think that's the most important thing going on here. Particularly on the Israeli side, they need the United States, not least for Iran. Iran has threatened Israel with genocide and is developing nuclear weapons. I think that's the reason Netanyahu has made some very difficult concessions here, in particular promising to release 104 Palestinian prisoners, among them terrorists who have done things like throw fire bombs onto buses carrying children. Right. The Israeli public is not happy about this. It's a big concession. I think Kerry made it to the Americans more than to the Palestinians.
All right, Clifford May, president of the Foundation for the Defense of Democracies. We appreciate your time, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.